Call to order the Tuesday, October 2027 meeting of the Owatonna City Council. We will take a roll call. Jeanette?
Councilmember Burbank.
Here.
Oki.
Here.
McCann.
Here.
Cindy.
Here.
Ross.
Here.
Dodson.
Here.
Rainey. Mayor Jessup.
Here.
We have 6 of the council and the mayor present.
All right, thank you. We will now do the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Burbank.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. We have a action-packed list here, so we'll try to get through it as quickly as we can. First of all, we have a council agenda, and we'll look for an approval on that.
I will make a motion to approve with one change. We discussed making public comment 3 minutes last week, so I would like to propose that we make that change on this agenda moving forward.
All right, do we have a second on that? And any discussion from anyone on that change?
Who was that second? Brent?
Brent, yes.
When will that go into effect? Tonight.
Okay.
We haven't noted as 2 minutes in this agenda. I would like to propose we start that tonight at 3 minutes.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, changing it to 3 minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right, thank you. We will now move over to Mayor Jessup for a number of proclamations.
Thank you, Council Vice President Voss. I do have 3 proclamations tonight, one from the Crisis Resource Center, declaring October Domestic Violence Awareness Month and calls upon all people of Owatonna to do their part. The second one is a proclamation declaring September 30th through October 4th as Owatonna Foundation Week, as a nod to the contributions that the Owatonna Foundation has made to the city through capital improvement. And then the final one, one of my favorite ones to do, when we recognize our public servants, the 2025 Firefighter of the Year, and proclaim Thursday, October 9th as Bonnie Hermel Day. So, that's all I have for tonight.
All right, thank you, Mayor. With that, we will move on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda consists of minutes from boards, commissions, department reports, licenses and permits, and other miscellaneous items, and we vote for all of that in one vote. So we'll need a motion to approve that.
So move.
And a second.
Second.
All right. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right. Thank you very much. We will now move on to action items. And tonight, we're gonna start with the finance report, and we have Mr. Svenby doing that tonight.
Bills presented this evening for $24,966 in capital lab. That's for process evaluation components, payroll assessment, and cash and investment reconciliation. $32,800 to cars tree service for tree work from storm damage. $21,096 to Central Farm Service for fuel. $121,841 to Green Creek. That is for pavement work from North Street to Wood Street. $25,404 to Cyber Advisors. That's for Fortinet for licensing renewal for 2025 through 2026 and hall remodel. $51,168 to Elders and Associates. That's for 2024 TIF reporting to OSA and August TIF payment calculation. $136,437 to the League of Minnesota Cities Trust Insurance Trust for Haycraft claim and workman's comp premiums September through December 2025. $246,699 to Leggett Subsidy Holdings, which is ICS. That's for the Public Safety Center and Community Center work they're doing for the city. $20,310 to Marco Technologies for the purchase of 6 copiers and the copier service usage fees. $261,806 to Near North Title Group for the purchase of 515 Bridge Street. $79,124 to Nero Engineering for wastewater treatment plant upgrade and expansion project, August payment. $33,263 to the Owatonna Area Chamber of Commerce, which is a July lodging tax. $2,569,941 to Rice Lake Construction Group, which also is the wastewater treatment plant expansion, pay estimate number 39. $23,505 to SEH Inc. for their work on 18th Street reconstruction project and the trail project. $153,696 to the Southeast Central Cooperative, that's the September 2025 health insurance premiums. $28,983 to the US Bank, which is the July and August credit card purchases. $204,297 to Winslow Construction, which is for pay estimate for street and utility work. $392,857 in other expenditures for a total of $4,146,923.55. Added to that, we have HRA housing assistance payments in the amount of $113,836 for a grand total expenditures presented for approval this evening of $4,538,037.36.
Thank you, Councilman Spenby, we appreciate that. We will be looking for a motion to approve paying those bills.
So move.
Motion by Dan, and a second.
Second.
I'll give it to Dave Burbank. All right, thank you, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you very much. Moving on to resolutions tonight, we were going to start with 3.2.1, Resolution 5825 to order a feasibility report for the 18th Street Southeast Reconstruction Project, and for information in that, we'll go to City Engineer Sean Murphy.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. We're requesting City Council's approval of Resolution 58-25, which is ordering the preparation of the 18th Street Southeast Reconstruction Feasibility Report. This is required as part of our 429 process in order to especially assess portions of this project or any project to adjacent property owners. Some background here is 18th Street Southeast from Austin Road to just east of Cornerstone Lane is slated for reconstruction in 2026. The need is driven by aging infrastructure, improving safety, and providing multimodal transportation facilities to the corridor outlined in our park and trail system master plan. The feasibility report will discuss current infrastructure conditions and our proposed improvements. The project will be paid for by a combination of assessments, federal funds, state funds, a transportation alternative grant, sanitary sewer funds, stormwater funds, and contributions from OPU. Cost allocations and amounts will be explored in this feasibility report. Is that staff recommends approval?
All right, thank you, Sean. Any further questions at this point for Sean? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion.
So move.
A motion by Dan. And do we have a second? Second. Second by Don, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that is approved. We'll move on to 3.2.2, Resolution 5925, order a feasibility report for the Main Street reconstruction and rehabilitation, and it's Mr. Murphy again.
Thank you. Again, we're asking for council's approval for resolution 59-25. This is ordering the feasibility report for the Main Street reconstruction and rehabilitation project. Similar process. In order to be able to assess, we need to follow 429 statutes, which requires ordering this feasibility report. We have received an original feasibility report from Fiscal County in 2023. There have been some modifications to the overall design and recommendations from that 2023 feasibility report, so we're going to be exploring those changes and aligning those costs in discussion with the feasibility report. The project will be paid for by a combination of Steele County funds, assessments, state aid funds, sanitary sewer funds, stormwater funds, and OPU contributions, as well as general funds. Cost allocations and amounts will also be explored in this feasibility report. That staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Sean. Further questions? Mr. Spenby.
Mr. Murphy, what's like the typical turnaround time on these feasibility reports?
We usually have them within 2 council meetings.
Thanks.
Anybody else? All right, with that, we'll look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Brent, and a second.
Second.
Second by Nate, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Moving to 3.2.3, Resolution 60-25 to declare costs for the 2024 street and utility project. Back to Mr. Murphy.
We're requesting City Council's approval of this resolution 60-25, which is declaring costs for a 2024 street utility project with improvements to Anderson Place Southwest and McKinley Street Southwest. Anderson Place and McKinley Street were reconstructed as part of the 2024 street utility project. The project was subject to assessments. A preliminary assessment hearing was held on March 6, 2024, and on April 16th, 2024. The city entered into a contract with Wenzel Construction Incorporated to complete the project at a contracted cost of $1.248 million. The project is now complete, and the final amount has been paid to the contractor. The final cost of the project, including change orders, quantity changes, and the addition of engineering and administrative costs, was $1,512,769, and will be paid for with a combination of city funds, OPU reimbursements, and special assessments. The city of Owatonna will collect the assessments as reimbursement for the expenses incurred as provided by our policies and state statute. Staff will prepare a proposed assessment roll naming the affected property owners and the amount to be specially assessed to their property. The proposed assessment amount sits at $90,516.40, which is just under 6% of the total project cost. With that, staff recommends approval.
All right, thank you. Do we have any further questions on that one? All right, seeing none. All in favor, we need a motion, sorry. Need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave, second? Second by Don. Any other questions? All in favor say, sorry.
I just got one comment. I'm looking forward to the time where we will not have individual street assessments. I know we're trying to work on that, as usual, figuring out how to pay for it. But you know, it's harder and harder to meet the requirements on projects to have the assessments. I'm looking forward, we don't have to do that anymore.
All right, thank you, Dan. Any others? We have a motion and a second, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. Thank you. We will now move on to 3.2.4, Resolution 6125 to set the public hearing date for the 2024 street and utility project proposed assessments. And that's Sean again.
Thank you. We're here to set the proposed assessment public hearing for our 2024 street and utility project. This is the next step in the assessment process and following 429. The attached requested hearing date is for Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. This is, again, the next step in the process following Minnesota state statutes. Staff will mail out notice to affected properties and provide public notice as required by state statute. The proposed assessment, again, is $90,516.40, and staff recommends approval.
Any further questions on that?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We'll let you have a break for a few minutes here, Sean. We will now move on to 3.2.5, Resolution 6225 Airport Maintenance and Operations Grant Agreement with MnDOT, and we will go to Community Development Director Troy Flecker.
Good evening. MnDOT Economics provides grant funding for airports under the State Airport Maintenance and Operations Agreement
agreements. This grant reimburses the city for eligible expenses, such as building repairs, mowing, equipment repair costs, and utilities, not to exceed the amount within the agreement. So we get this every year. This one is for 2026 and 2027. The total amount would be $69,313.48. We would then submit receipts for those costs that we have that are eligible to receive those funds. So this is the M&O agreement. Again, we get this every year, and so staff recommend approval.
Thank you, Troy. We've heard the report from Mr. Klecker. Any other further questions on that one? Dave?
So, Troy, this is just maintenance and operation, not equipment at all. Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? Looking for a motion to approve.
Go ahead. Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave and a second by Brent. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. 3.2.6, Resolution 6325, awarding the 2025 fall demolition projects, and that will go back to Troy.
Okay, so as part of our floodplain mitigation efforts, the city's purchased 315 Lamont Road and 502 Maple Drive with the assistance of a DNR grant. Those properties have been purchased, the asbestos has been removed, so we're at the point of removing them. We go through a process in which we get quotes. We sent out the invitation on September 8th. Those are sent to local contractors that have performed demolition work with the city in the past or have expressed interest previously. We did receive those then on September 30th. We do state that the work needs to be done by December 1st, with the exception if it's too cold to do the utility work, that can be completed by June 1st. So the low quote we got for the demolition of those two properties is $63,000, and that was received from Wenzel Construction. So staff would recommend approval of the resolution awarding this work to Wenzel Construction.
All right, thank you, Troy. Any further questions on the demolition projects? All right, oh, yes, sir, Mr.
Troy,
Bowler.
that is the floodplain program that DNR has,
Correct.
and you said our balance is getting,
So we have a grant, the DNR grant money they had available, is tapped out at the time we did this. And then they were hoping to get more money from the legislature here in the future for more, but yeah, this will be, until they get more funds, this will be as much as we can tap at this point.
Any other questions? We will look for a motion on that.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave, second?
Second.
Second by Don. Anything else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that is passed. We will move on now to 3.2.7, Resolution 64-25 to authorize the MnDOT grant for the airport taxi lane and parking lot reconstruction, and once again, Development Director Klecker.
All right, so you have seen this project a few times on the council agenda. You've approved the CIP monies for the local share. You've approved the plans. You've awarded the project. You've approved the FAA grant. The last step now is the MnDOT grant, which is before you tonight. This is for $49,566. And with the federal grant, that leaves us a local portion of $28,558. Unfortunately, the time it takes to get these grants and get them approved and back to the state and the FAA, we're into October now. And so this project, we've talked with the contractor, and they would prefer to do it in the spring. And they are willing to honor those prices, and we'll
approvals we need. So they'll be able to get going on it first thing in the spring. And so that's the game plan at this point. So right now, we just need to approve the MnDOT grant for the $49,566.
Thank you, Troy. Questions on that? Yes, sir, Dan?
Say, Troy, do we already have the federal dollars in hand at this point?
Well, we have we won't get those until, the project is,
Okay.
so, but they have awarded it, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, waiting till the spring probably helps the situation we're in right now, so.
So they actually would send help. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, we will look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Don, and a second.
Okay.
Second by Dave. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. Okay, thank you, Troy. We will now move on to 3.2.8 Resolution 65-25, which is to award the sale of general obligation bonds 2025A, and I believe we will have our finance director, Ms. Emily Burns, come to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Previously, Resolution 51-25 authorized Ellers and Associates to solicit proposals for the issuance of bonds that would finance the 2025 street reconstruction and overlay activities. And this evening, Todd with Ellers is going to do an overview of the bond sale that occurred today.
Thank you, Emily. Mayor, council members, nice to be here again. Appreciate it. Todd Hagan from Ellers and Associates here to present the sale day report of your bond sale for the street reconstruction portion of the street and utility improvements for 2025. I think you've got a sale day report in your packets that might have come this afternoon because we took bids this morning by 10 o'clock. Also, there's a final resolution for you to act on if you like what you see tonight. So it's a great day to sell bonds, I'll say. Before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about the credit rating, and then we can kind of talk about how the bids came in and what interest rate you got and all that good stuff. So a couple weeks ago, we had the team, Troy, Emily, Jenna, and Ellers folks, and analysts from Chicago, from Moody's Investors Service, who is your bond rating agency. Had a really good call, very well prepared, by the way, from staff, and with very little follow-up. So it was a really good call for most of their first time, I think, on a lot of these, on this type of call. So we did good preparation, and I think it made Owatonna look very well to those folks. So there is a credit rating report that's in my packet. It's an easy read. It's got a lot of fun statistics and important sort of points. I'll let you guys kind of take a look at that, but they do say that the city has a consistently strong financial position across governmental and business type activities supported by sound budgetary management and solid revenue trends. So you've got very strong reserves. I think what we want to do is maintain those, and we've got financial management planning coming down the pike here. That's something to keep in mind. There is a chart in this report from Moody's that does kind of talk about, actually shows that you've got a lot of your profile is actually at like the AAA level. You did maintain the AA1, and we did talk about all the other projects that are coming up in Owatonna, and I think the only thing that looked like that was kind of keeping it down, which is only one notch below the AAA, is the per capita income profile and kind of just the general economy. Really, a lot of things we can't control here. Troy is doing a great job with economic development, and that's going to help. It's been a really good story thus far, and we'll just kind of keep up the good work as we move forward. But keeping those reserves up, I think, offsets some of that. So that AA1 is really kind of where we wanted it to land, and we did. So that's a good thing. So we did up to 10 o'clock this morning, received 2 bids. There was a little bit of competition today out there, which I think was a good thing. You had one of the smaller bonds out there, the 1.75 mark. Dorota Heights was out there, Golden Valley, Wabasha, New Prague EDA, and Spring Lake Park School District. Some were very large, most were kind of in the $3 million ballpark. So we did get Northland Securities to look at you today, and Baird also out of Milwaukee. And Northland Securities was the low bid at 3.055%, and Baird out of Milwaukee was at 3.11%. So kind of tight bidding just between the two, maybe $10,000 of interest cost, kind of in between just the two interest rates, so both bids would have been just fine. We'll go with Northland is what my recommendation is, and that was about, well, over 75 basis points, so a little over 0.75% lower than our pre-sale estimate, which is good news. So the market was moving in the right direction for you folks, I think, so smart on your part, so congratulations for that, for picking today. We did also receive more money than what we need, which is, I think in the last 10, 12 years is what I've been seeing almost on every bid. So we call that a premium bid. If you look at the bid tabulation, it looks like a lot of 5%ers all the way down, but the reoffering yield's at 2.5 to 3.1. The difference between the two is cash from Northland Securities customers in the form of a premium. So they actually gave them money to hold your bonds at that higher interest rate stamped on them. We decided to lower the bond issue by that cash, which is typical because I believe our project cost is just fine. So we're staying at the same project cost, but we're issuing less bonds, 145,000 less of bonds. Again, that was from the premium bid, lower underwriter fee, and lower cost of issuance too. So everything just compressed today and came in a lot lower. So we're at 1.57 million instead of 1.715 million. Is what's in the resolution for you folks to decide to approve tonight. The closing is October 30th. All the money comes in and probably just reverses ourselves as we move forward here. So it's kind of an in and out thing, and yeah, it was a really good bond sale. So from what I've been seeing, I probably sell a bond or two kind of every weekend, and this has gone down. The interest rates have been coming down week after week after week. And I did put a little chart in there too, just to kind of see the trend is kind of heading in that direction. So I think I tried to catch all the high points here. So win-win, I think, for Owatonna, and I'll yield for any questions from the council if you have any questions for me. So good bond sale.
Thank you, Todd. Appreciate that. Questions for Mr. Hagan? Well, we're happy to hear it went our way.
Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate that, and lots of activity in the market. Probably everyone's trying to kind of wrap things up at the end of the year. So I think part of that is too, it kind of attracts everybody to kind of sharpen their pencil too. So it's great to have activity out there as well. So we appreciate your business, of course. Yeah.
We appreciate your expertise. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We need a motion,
I was not sure if she had
Sorry.
any more.
No, I was just gonna wrap it up with saying staff recommends the adoption of resolution 65-25, awarding the sale of bonds.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Emily?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Nate. Looking for a second.
Second.
Second by Dan. Any other questions? Comments? All right, with that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you very much, Emily and Todd. All right, we will move to 3.2.9, Resolution 66-25 to rescind the Lakeside Foods notice of violation and authorize consent of agreement. And we will go to Mr. Murphy.
Thank you. Yes, we're here to request approval of resolution 50-25 to rescind the notice of violation that we issued to Lakeside Foods on May 6, 2025, with Resolution 23-25. This is for violations against the city's code of ordinances and industrial wastewater discharge permit. We do have Daniel Marks here. He's our special legal counsel that has been working through this issue, senior attorney with Flaherty and Hood. He also helps represent outstate cities through Messer. He's been working diligently on this issue on the city's behalf and trying to find an equitable resolution between us and Lakeside. So with that, we'll have Daniel come up and present to the council.
Thank you, Sean. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Daniel Marks with Flaherty and Hood. And tonight, this is just kind of the resolution of the enforcement matter that had really gone back to 2003 with Lakeside, where there was a discharge event that occurred where Lakeside ended up sending a large amount of untreated, high-strength waste to the city's wastewater treatment facility. And as you know, the city had been, over the last couple of years, working with Lakeside to try to address that issue. And then ultimately in May of this year, the city issued a resolution approving a formal notice of violation to Lakeside Foods to address what the city was alleging as violations of the ordinance resulting from that discharge event. And at this time, city staff, working with legal counsel and Lakeside's team, has essentially developed a settlement agreement, which is what we refer to as administrative consent order, consent agreement, which is a common way to resolve environmental issues that's authorized in city code. And basically what the resolution allows for is it allows for the city to resolve this matter with Lakeside without Lakeside having to admit culpability in any way. And what the resolution that we have negotiated is essentially Lakeside Foods paying the city's adopted industrial user rates for the amount of pollution that was sent to the city. So the city has adopted significant industrial user rates. And so what we were able to negotiate with Lakeside was basically estimating how much waste they sent to the city and then charging them based upon the applicable adopted rates, so that we were ensuring that the city was appropriately charging them the rates and treating all users within the city fairly. And then Lakeside also agreed to pay a portion of the city's additional costs that resulted from that discharge event, and ultimately paying $22,000 in those additional costs that aren't covered by the rates. And so the total amount that they're agreeing to pay is $213,293.50. And that's the summation of the applicable user rate plus some of the additional costs that the city incurred that aren't covered by those rates. And in order to approve that agreement, what we are recommending the council to do tonight is to rescind the previous resolution where the council made certain findings and issued a formal notice of violation to Lakeside. And so we're proposing to rescind that notice of violation and at the same time approve this consent agreement. And the consent agreement is in your packet. I also submitted a memorandum that should also been in your packet. But essentially what it does is it requires Lakeside Foods to pay those applicable user rates, to pay the additional cost, those $22,000, and then really the meat beyond the rates is it imposes what are called corrective actions that the Public Works Director identified are kind of critical actions that we wanted Lakeside to take to ensure that nothing like happened in 2003 happens again, and others updates to their facility to ensure that they're fully in compliance with city ordinances, etc. And so basically Lakeside is agreeing to pay those user charges, pay the costs, and take the corrective actions that the Public Works Director has requested, within a certain, very reasonable timeframe. And so our recommendation, both the legal counsel and staff, is that the city adopt this resolution, which again rescinds the formal notice of violation. So that kind of takes any legal jeopardy or liability away from Lakeside and then authorizes this essentially settlement agreement to address the enforcement action. I don't have anything further in the details. I'm happy to answer questions, or Sean, if I missed anything.
Thank you, Mr. Marks. Do we have questions? Nate?
So this rescission is not contingent upon them completing anything, we're gonna rescind, and then, I don't expect they're gonna do it, but.
Yeah, so you're rescinding the notice of violation, and then the agreement becomes a formal binding legal agreement. And then if for some reason they were to violate that agreement, the city would have the ability to enforce that agreement, including charging charges and the additional costs and the corrective actions. So you're not giving away any leverage, so to say, that the binding agreement is what will take effect.
And with our significant industrial user permit or industrial wastewater discharge permit, if it comes to it, we can revoke their permit so they cannot discharge, so.
The requirements of the agreement get included in the permit, so it kind of all gets wrapped together.
I guess I expect they're gonna do it. It's been a long process, and get this wrapped up, great.
Yeah, and it was a collaborative solution.
Mr. Burbank?
Sorry, Dave.
Just a comment on letter H in the packet here. And I know this has been an issue for a lot of years and some hard feelings probably initially. The city estimated cost at $44,000. But then after discussion with Lakeside, the city's agreed to accept $22,000. Is that simply a compromise, Sean?
Yeah, and we can provide some justification that with operating a wastewater treatment facility, that there are certain costs that we need to absorb regardless of what action is taken. Whether we need special legal counsel or having operating staff doing tasks that may be in response to a discharge event or doing something else. So Daniel, along with their attorney, worked through some of those agreements that, it's not writing off costs, but it's also, it's more so that we realize that there are costs that we're inherently accepting just by operating a wastewater treatment facility.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I guess I would say, I think we are all very, very pleased to have this come to a conclusion, so thank you for that. Mr. Walbrand, Mr. Murphy, Mr. Marks, thank you very much for all your effort to take care of that, and Jenna as well, I know is deeply involved, so thank you. With that, we'll look for a motion to approve. Motion by Nate, and a second.
Second.
I'll give it to Mr. Burbank. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is passed. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, we are now on to 3.2.10, a resolution 67-25 legal services contract with the Steele County Attorney's Office. With that, we'll go to City Director Jenna Tuma.
Thank you, yes, Mayor and Council. I have actually two contracts, so I may just talk through both of them because they kind of lead into each other, and then you can approve separately if you'd like. But this resolution 6725 is for the Steele County Attorney's Office, which provides criminal prosecution for the city and some data practices, and also our civil representation to the city and our police department. And a little bit of a background is we're trying to formalize our agreement. The last written one was in 1978 with Ruth and Schreiner, I believe, at the office here in town, as an independent contract. And then in 1999, that was assigned to the Steele County Attorney's Office. It was a verbal agreement with some adjustments for reimbursements to the Steele County. recently, the Steele County has expanded, legal services to the city and seeks to update a legal service agreement with us. County Attorney Jared estimated the services that the city is providing, or is, receiving, is, about one full-time attorney and a half equivalent of a support. And so really, this is trying to put it in formal agreement. There is, increase for this year, so I guess I'd call it a catch up and keep up, a contract, so it is an agreement for 5 years. The biggest increase is happening in 2026. It is in the 2026 budget, that was presented to the council. So with that, Chief Mondell has, reviewed this and is very pleased and happy and, works closely with the county. So with that, that's the first agreement, which leads us into the second agreement. Because the county is representing the city, we're looking to enter into an agreement as resolution 6825 into a joint powers agreement where the county is representing the city. And with doing that, they need to be access into the criminal data justice network and the court's record. By doing this and authorizing the county to go in, there can prosecute the misdemeanors, gross misdemeanors, and the felony level crimes, as the city will be, or as the county will be representing the city, and they'll have access to the CG, DN, and court records to fulfill these duties. And so really the two kind of go together with that. And so those are the two agreements. Staff recommends approval of both.
Thank you, Jenna. Questions for that? Mr. Boki?
Just have a question for Attorney Walbrand. You know this way more than I. Everything seemed right, just, and reasonable?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, well, we have two resolutions here. We'll take them one at a time. So we'll look for a motion to approve resolution 67-25 first.
So moved.
Motion by Dan, second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any other questions on that one? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. We will now do the second notice, or resolution 6825, the joint powers agreement, and we will need a motion to approve on that one.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Brent, and a second.
Second.
Second by Nate. Any other questions on that one? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And that passes as well. All right, we will now move on to 3.2.12, resolution 6925 to declare a hazardous building at 2008 Greenwood Drive Northeast. Is that going to Mr. Walbrand? Thank you.
Resolution 6925 is a resolution declaring the building at 2008 Greenwood Drive as a hazardous building. The purpose of the resolution is to designate the building as a hazardous building in order that the hazardous conditions be abated. The house has been vacant for over a year. The owner's legal representative has indicated to us that they have no intent to contest the designation as a hazardous building. The next step after the resolution is adopted here will be to determine what needs to be done to the house, whether it can be repaired or if it would need to be raised. This will take a little time, but as I say, this likely will not be contested. It's sort of an unfortunate situation.
Thank you, Mr. Walbrand. Questions on that? Nate?
In the event that the home ultimately cannot be repaired and the property owner can't take care of it, would it eventually just go into tax forfeiture? Worst case scenario, is that what would happen here?
There's a pretty substantial mortgage on the property, and so there'll be some discussion with the bank. The mortgage is actually with the Department of Agriculture, so the communication is a little bit difficult.
Anything further? All right, we will take a motion on that.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Boki, and we need a second.
Second.
Second by Don. Any other further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that has passed. Moving on to 3.3.1, commercial hangar space lease with Accelerated Aviation, we will go back to Mr. Klecker.
All right, I will kind of talk about the next three things on the agenda here because they all go together. The first one, the commercial hangar space lease. So we have a proposed lease agreement with Accelerated Aviation to rent half of our main hangar, which is about 6,400 square feet. The intention there is that they would use that to store some of their vehicles that they currently have in their hangar out at the airport. And the reason for that is the intent of the hangar that they have is they would provide maintenance service public maintenance service out at the airport, which is something we've been really striving to get out at the airport. Initially, we talked about providing that service in our main hangar. The facilities work out better for them to have it in their hangar, so they would be leasing our main hangar to move the planes they have in their hangar over to ours, so it would be a storage facility for their hangar, for our hangar, and then they would operate the maintenance operation out of theirs. There's a current sublease for that main hangar, or for the hangar that they're in now, that goes to the end of the year. So we need a bridge sublease agreement that would allow for maintenance service to occur in that hangar. Currently, the sublease just allows for storage of hangars. And then the third item there is the sublease for the maintenance service after January 1st, because they'll be under sublease there. So they're all tied together. Ultimately, Accelerated is expanding out at the airport to include maintenance service for the general public, which again is something we strive to get out there. We will have a lease for ours, which we would set up for 5 years and at a prorated rate. This is how we started them out at the airport, is at a very reasonable first year, get them up and going to where we hit market rates by that 5th year. So we've set this up very much the same way. So we would need all three of them to be approved in order to move forward with this. They're very excited about this new venture out at Owatonna Airport. So staff would recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Troy. Any questions for Troy on that? I think we're all excited to have that much activity out there, so thanks for your work on that. With that, we'll look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave and a second by Brent. Anything else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. We should probably be doing these one by one, shouldn't we? My apologies. We'll go first on the 3.3.1 for the commercial hangar space, Accelerated Aviation. We'll need a motion for that one.
We can use that motion for vacancy.
Okay, motion by Dave, second by Brent. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. 3.3.2, the Amendment 1 to Airport Sublease, John Clad Air Show and Nav Fleet Holding LLC. We need a motion to approve that.
So move.
Motion by Dan, second by Brent again. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. That passes. 3.3.3, Amendment 2 to Airport Sublease Fountain Aviation LLC. And we need a motion to approve that one.
So moved.
Motion by Brent, second by Nate. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? None. All right, all three passed. Thank you, Troy. Last item, 3.3.4, the wastewater treatment facility IRA Energy Credit 80/20 Evaluation Services with Baker Tilly. This is Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We previously came to council requesting approval of an agreement with Baker Tilly last May of 24 in providing consulting services, expert services in applying for federal tax credits under the IRA 2022 or the with that in terms of green energy or biogas creation that we are getting out of our wastewater treatment facility. Through that program, or the IRA 2022, we as a city, by implementing new infrastructure that is creating biogas or renewable energy, are eligible for tax credits, or in our case, it would just be a reimbursement of capital costs. As part of that exercise, there is some stipulations, very fine tuned language within that IRA 2022. And part of it is that we're trying to limit just rehabs or just partial replacements. And so they have a requirement that all of our components that contribute to biogas creation within our digester complex, all of the eligible components, we need to have 80% of those be new versus, sorry, not 80% be new, 80% of the total cost must be new. So there's value in some of our assets that weren't replaced. The best example I can give you is basically the concrete digester complex, just the concrete itself, is not new. So that is an asset that would kind of go towards that max of 20%. So we are requesting services from Baker Tilly to go through not only all new capital improvement or capital assets that is part of our digester complex and our wastewater treatment facility upgrade, but also assess value in components that haven't been upgraded to make sure we're in compliance with the federal regs that are tied to IRA 22. Our consulting engineers at Nero and Baker Tilly have both said they're very confident that we'll be well above the 80% that is needed. We just have to go through the gymnastics to do it, to satisfy some requirements and forms for the application process with the federal government. So that is in a sense what we're requesting services for. And to date, between the original contract with Baker Tilly and what we're requesting today is about $125,000 in consulting services. And we haven't applied yet, but the draft numbers that Baker Tilly's coming up with for what we're expecting for a refund is north of $5 million. So it's an investment well worth it. And this is something that we were not aware of, and it wasn't even part of legal act as we started going through this process in the late 2017, 2018 as we started embarking on this project. So we know costs have inflated dramatically due to COVID and supply chain issues, but this is another little nugget that we're able to potentially get back to bring that total project cost down. So with that, staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Sean. Further questions on that? Or comments? I'm glad somebody dug that little nugget out of somewhere. That'll be very helpful. Thank you. All right, we have a motion to approve by Nate. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Don. Any other questions for Sean? All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? All right, that has passed. That ends our action items for the night. We will now move on to public comments. We have, let's see, we'll open it up to the public and we'll please limit your comments to 3 minutes now. Thank you, Nate. Please approach the microphone, sign in, and state your name and address for the record after being acknowledged by the council president. Speakers will be limited to the 3 minutes to deliver their comments. Those speaking are asked to conduct themselves in a respectful manner as they deliver their comments. Audience members are asked to refrain from reacting to comments, and the city council will not respond directly to comments in this venue or take immediate action in response to them. So with that, the microphone is open.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dale Fairbanks. I live on Willow Creek Drive. Before I get to my comments, I'd just like to commend the city council for hiring a public works director that recognizes the importance of communicating with his constituents, and the administrative coordinator who's making this transition from our old city administrator to the new one. She's very much constituent receptive also. That being said, I have a concern about the money that you folks seem to like to spend. You paid for a survey several years ago about parking downtown. Despite the citizens wanting more downtown parking, you chose instead to reduce the number of downtown parking spots at a time when the state no longer requires parallel parking as part of the driving test. So all the parking downtown now is parallel parking. Instead you choose to spend more than $1 million. I don't know how much more than $1 million. We spent $1 million tearing down a building that was paying property tax to put a parking lot that's farther away from downtown than the parking lot in Walmart is. My big concern is now you want to tear down a building that was shared by the police department and the sheriff's department. With the sheriff's department gone, the police department now has twice the space to create an environment conducive to their needs. You have purchased the old school district building. You can make this the new fire station headquarters. And there is room to build the garages for the fire department in the back parking lot behind them if you want to park your fire trucks. Instead, you want to spend millions to tear down the police department building and build a brand new joint police fire building. The only reason I can think of why we would do something like this is so you can get that brass plate on the wall with your name on it. You keep spending money with, this building is 140 years old, and you want to tear down a 60-year-old building that's totally serviceable. Just needs to be remodeled on the inside. What are they doing with all the empty space there now that the sheriff's department's gone? So I wish you'd think about how you're going to spend money in the upcoming endeavor here to change the things for the police department and the fire department. Because you keep spending my money and my taxes keep going up. You know, it's getting harder and harder to pay property taxes in this community because the school district wants something new, the county wants something new.
Time, sir.
The city wants something new.
Thank you, Mr. Fairbanks. Appreciate your comments. Good evening.
Good evening. I wanted to send an email after the last meeting, but life's busy, and unfortunately my family's needs trumped that email. So I'll just say it publicly instead. Tonight, I want to take a moment to thank you, especially those that voted no to pay raises and tax increases at the last meeting. I know it's often a thankless job. You sit here through long agendas, field complaints from every direction, sort through all sorts of budget numbers, and still have to listen to people like me. And you do it all for very little compensation, but your decisions truly impact families across our community, and that's really why we're all here, isn't it? Right now, inflation is high, insurance costs keep climbing, property taxes are ever increasing, and wages just aren't keeping pace. Many families like mine, and I'm sure yours too, are feeling the pinch more than ever. just to cover the basics: food, clothing, housing, heat, and taxes, with less money left for the extras. So I want to sincerely thank you for recognizing that every dollar counts. Your restraint and awareness of spending mattered, and they don't go unnoticed. A raise would have been nice, and probably well needed after listening to all of our 2-minute public speech comments. But we appreciate that you put the residents first. We hope that you apply that same awareness as you work to finalize the city levy and keep it as low as possible, prioritizing the basics over the extras. And speaking of public comment, I actually have a cheeky comment ready to go about it still holding the 2 minutes, but Councilman Dotson went ahead and ruined that for me. So I'll make sure to use my full 3 minutes wisely starting next time. And I promise to use my power responsibly. Thank you for that change as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a new walker. I seriously considered walking from Ridge Road, but thought I'd probably better wind up driving still.
Gary Jones, 995 Ridge Road. First of all, I would very much like to thank the city council mayor for the additional minute of public comment. You do not believe how many Saturday mornings have been spent not putting together your presentation, but wrestling with it with my wife and daughter, trying to get it from 3.5 minutes down to 2, and then get beeped. So, I really appreciate it. Thank you. At the last meeting, I shared that I tapped into artificial intelligence and shared both the question I asked as well as the answer received. I did not read the final conclusion proposed by AI, which I would like to share with you at this time. So I asked the question, is it a good idea to have, as Owatonna does, an archery deer hunt that extends 30 minutes after sunset in a public park with high foot traffic, dog walkers, disc golfers, and surrounded by homes? And to this, AI concluded, and I quote, "In summary, attempting to hunt in a high foot traffic public park with competing activities such as disc golf is profoundly unsafe, unethical, and likely illegal. The significant danger to the public and clear conflict with safety standards protocols make it an exceptionally poor idea." End quote. This is right on target. It's the legality as you roll back the ordinance for the special hunt. Now, this is not Gary Jones's idea. This is the summation of all the facts that we pulled together forward on this topic by AI. It was their best answer forming this conclusion. Now, my first meeting with TW was at Middle Springs Park. It was open-minded to walk into the area of season 2 tree stand with my family and I and see the high degree of activity in the park. And his first question to me was, nobody else has come forward and said anything. You are the only one. Why is this such an important thing to you? And it kind of gave me the impression the whole city was fine with this except me. And I hope my analysis above has shown that this is not the case. It's not Owatonna against me. It's kind of the city council and Park and Rec against the World Wide Web, and I'm in the middle somewhere. And this is formed by every fact that can be gathered on the topic. Please pull this from Middle Springs Park before AI's findings come true. There's too much activity, and it is too small. TW was right. We can be flooded with complacency, but that will quickly change into a major court case with AI providing these same thoughts to the prosecuting attorney when a tragedy happens. You can prevent this with one simple vote, eliminating Mineral Springs from the hunt, and after 45 meetings, I can finally stay home. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Anybody else in the audience want to come forward?
I have a whole separate issue. 3-year-old issue.
Do we do twice? Okay, I'm sorry, sir, your 3 minutes were used. With that, we have one other item with Ms. Burns. Is that correct?
Yep, Emily, T.
Oh, I'm sorry. Emily Day. I'm sorry, going to Assistant City Administrator Emily Thamer. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I see we have a new city employee out in the audience, so I just want to give a warm Owatonna welcome to Daniel for joining our finance department.
All right, thanks for being here, Daniel. Daniel's coming here from Roseau, so he's going like an entire 500 miles coming south. It'll be a lot warmer here.
Yeah, much warmer.
He's working in our county.
Yes. All right, with that then, we will move on to council comment, and we will start with Mr. Spendy.
Nothing, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dotson.
Nothing to add.
Mr. Burbank.
I think you have.
Mr. Boki.
Welcome to our new employee, welcome aboard, nothing else.
And Mr. McCann.
Just want to say shout out to Rachel, too. The new HR director.
Yes. Congratulations, and Jenna, anything further?
I had just a couple of things I wanted to let the public know is that as the weather is turning a little bit colder, staff will be working on turning off water at the drinking fountains and the restrooms, and so plan ahead. And then I just want to really acknowledge our staff. We've been working our tails off behind the scenes on a number of topics and areas, and we've been in a lot of transition for the last, I'd say, year. And so just want to acknowledge from our frontline workers all the way through our executive team that they really are, we have top-notch staff here, so we should be proud of that.
Thank you, Jenna. Yes, and I think we all appreciate all the efforts you guys put in. So, I think, without further ado, that concludes our meeting tonight.
Mayor, you want to ask?
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr.
No.
Mayor.
Nothing tonight.
Well, with that, I'll say thank you, everybody, for putting up with me tonight, so, thank you. And we have a motion for Mr. Boki to adjourn. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Nate. All in favor, say aye.
Discussions before we get I just want to say you did a good job.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate
And
that.
I was gonna hold you here for another hour.
Oh, I bet you were. With that, we'll be adjourned. Thank you, everybody.